planning to we are planning to
add more children for
add another one. Then I'll have more children.
Good day, esteemed viewers, students, and teachers. Welcome to another edition of Royal Scholars Talkshow. This remains a talk show whereby we bring to you respected topics from the perspectives of professionals. The same conversations create change. Today, we're having one of those important conversations, an enlightening session where we examine important perspectives with the help of our guest. I am your host for today, Amina Ilyas. Our first guest for today is Mrs. Zuwaira Abubakar, a respected lecturer in the Department of Library Science, Federal University of Lafia, an education researcher known for her passion towards academic excellence. Mrs. Zuwaira, thank you so much for honoring our invitation. We are also honored to have Dr. Lawal Abdulmumuni, a medical doctor and a youth advocate who has worked closely with students on issues relating to mental health and stress. Thank you so much for coming, Dr. Lawal.
Thank you so much for having me.
You both are highly welcome on board. Academic excellence has remained one of society's greatest pursuits, yet one of its greatest misunderstood concepts. For decades, success in school has been reduced to one word: intelligence. In 2019, the study of James Patterson on discipline and cognitive consistency suggests that academic excellence is less about brilliance or intelligence, it is more about behavioral structure. So this morning, we move beyond the simplistic idea that successful students are merely naturally gifted. We ask a much deeper question. What really helps students excel academically? Is it discipline, mental health, parental support, mindset, or teaching quality? Before we move into the core of today's episode, we have a very quick game, an interesting one. It's called the DIY, do it yourself. I'm going to hand over a sheet of paper and pen to you, and then I have two questions just to. I'll ask the question and then you will write your answer, and you will review it after you're done. This is for you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Okay. My first question. What is the most common excuse students give after failing? The most common excuse students give after failing. What's your opinion? As a lecturer, this is where you have a very limited. The second question. What is the one thing that destroys students academically? What's the one?
Yeah.
You're done, right?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see your question.
Your answer. Okay.
I hope you can read my writing is poor. I'll do it.
Okay, answer. The most common excuse students give after failing. Dr. Lawal said they blame the course or the teacher or even the program. Okay? Blame the course. How would you blame the course? Be like, it's not my fault.
Always.
Okay.
You just about the disco. Whenever this is fault.
And then second, the one thing that destroys students academically the most, complacency, right?
Yes.
Okay? By complacency, you mean?
Students became complacent. They don't make the efforts.
Okay.
Students believe that they are brilliant. Students believe that they are already
gifted.
Yes.
Okay.
And they don't do the work that
Yes.
makes you.
Okay. Some very good answers. Mrs. Zuwaira. For the first question, Mrs. Zuwaira said, oh, questions are set outside Overstock's.
That's what you always say. I read all my books for the finish after I was okay, you teach your teacher. That's what you always say.
That's an expression, yes.
Yes.
Okay. For the second question, the one thing that destroys students academically the most, Mrs. Zuwaira said, high social media usage.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think a lot of students are just attached to their phone?
Attached to their phone, so you find, you see somebody trying to read for exams, or music is playing on the background, and they say, I read better with my music on, and before you know it, they are checking their TikTok, who sent me a message, and I'm like, I have children, I own children at that particular stage. All of a sudden, when I read better with music on, I didn't complain. I waited for I waited for and I said, the music is showing the knowledge you feel, but she didn't do after.
Okay. Thank you so much. To begin with you, Dr. Lawal, one of the most neglected dimensions of academic performance today is biological and psychological condition of the learner. Many students are mentally exhausted long before they enter the examination hall. Yet, many students still believe academic success is simply about reading harder. From your medical perspective, are we underestimating the role of health in education?
If we think the way you have mentioned, I think we are.
Okay.
Now, there are many directions from which you view health as part of education. If you view education as some form of activity, just like anyone, that you need to make some effort and get certain results,
Okay.
you need to be healthy. Take the simple example that if you are going to learn from your teacher, it means you need to come to class. It means you need to sit through the class. It means you need to pay attention while you are sitting in the class. If you are not healthy, you may not be able to do that.
Sure.
Now, this issue of absence of health has two parts that I want to draw attention to. There are parts that you can't help. Everybody gets ill from time to time.
Yes.
You can get malaria, you can get fever, you can get. So that is physical absence of health, physical illness. It affects your body. You can't sit down, maybe you throw up, maybe you feel sleepy and tired. That's what happens. Then there is the mental health, the one that affects your mind. The analogy I can give you that should be straightforward is your mind is like bring the analogy between your phone and if you have too many things, too many apps in your phone, and then your phone, because it still requires some space, some memory points. If you block your mind instead of watching social media, which I'm not suggesting that you shouldn't do that.
Okay.
But if there is too much of it, yes, if there is too much of it, it now affects how much space your brain has.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lawal. That's a very good medical insight. Mrs. Zuwaira, it is observed that in higher education and in secondary schools today, many students arrive academically active but intellectually unprepared. As a lecturer who has interacted with students at advanced academic levels, are students truly learning or simply rehearsing information for examination?
Yeah, basically what we want to do is that tend to cram. You tend to cram to have the exam. So that's why I don't judge success. I don't judge intelligence by passing the exams. And sometimes you pass the exams, but when you sit down and try to interact with them and see what they do, they actually end up saying, so you should cram. Immediately after the exam, you tend to forget everything you cram. But if you sit down and truly learn, if you truly learn, attend classes, you read and follow, you don't even need to cram at all. When you come to classes and you listen to those examples that the teacher gives in the class, you tend to remember some things. And when you remember, you try to, as I keep telling you again, attend classes at all costs. when you attend classes, you can remember one or two words. Even if you can't understand what it said, you go back and do some small research. Thank God we have all this AI app, ChatGPT, Gemini, all of them have a from keyword that you don't understand. Put them there. It will break it down for you. In fact, if you want it easier, higher, it's there.
Okay.
It's close.
Okay. So you're saying that they're just rehashing it
They're just rehashing and cramming. Lots of them are not checking implementing.
Okay. Dr. Lawal, students now celebrate 2 hours a day during examination as though exhaustion is proof of seriousness. Yes, neuroscience suggests the opposite. Would you then say that many students are fighting against their own brain while trying to succeed academically?
Yes, I think you can say that, but I would even put it as if probably many students confuse activity for success.
Okay.
If I'm doing the activity, it means that I'm gaining.
Okay.
I'll give an example. You have students that because the team is academics is serious, they spend the whole night trying to read. Yes. So you find that in such situations, you not allow your brain to rest, which is part of what is required in learning. Your brain, whatever you study now, during that period of rest, during that period of sleep, your brain consolidates it. So if you do a lot of that, the worst is people go to the library. They go to the Zuwaira's library. They go there and they look at them. They go there and they talk to them. They go there. So they may spend many hours in the library. But the actual time spent studying is not that number. So they say they're in the library since morning. They're studying.
So much, Dr. Lawal. Mrs. Zuwaira, from your experience interacting with students across different educational levels, I mean, your children, they're also students, and then students in the university, what kind of school environment genuinely helps students grow intellectually rather than really prepare them for examinations? We're talking about teaching quality here, mentorship, discipline, and academic language.
Well, first of all,
Yes.
what a place to be. So let's have maybe already discipline. You know when it's time for them to read, you know when it's time for them to look at their phones, answer messages, and you know when it's particular about sleep. It's not a job for them for them, right? So they know when it's time for them to go to classes. Time management again, very, very seriously. Now, so today, the same thing is okay. Rural scholars of my children one particular thing. You see punctuality. Punctuality. Some have been one now. Once it's 6:50, it was screaming, Mommy, it's almost 7, mommy to all 8. So now it's already in line again. All of them. You don't what should say it is 7 or 7 and it does every day, no matter what it is. For the even at that. Now when it comes time management is very important. So it's not to have classes by you have classes 7 I feel they are just passing. However, we do now follow the vital information you are supposed to get. You end up losing it. Now, when you are not disciplined from where you're coming from, it's going to come through with where you're coming in school. Now, a child that is disciplined will automatically find it easy to adapt to whatever situation you find yourself in school. Then you come in the food well, when you teach that child will when he comes back and revise where you are doing. So where you don't understand, you need to ask questions and they want to go and action. Actually, what they are already doing. You don't really need to stress yourself when they can't come because they are already consistent with checking the book from time to time. So when they come and you are not overly bored, you are not reflecting, just reverse and find that I know this is not true. And those kind of people tend to pass very well and still remember time to come when you ask them questions about that. That is what is a proper intellectual learning, not which of that mind to come.
Yes, and I want to add another perspective. Yes, I'm sure with this. In university,
Yes.
where scholar, you find that yes, primary and secondary schools, we find that the way the environment is set up, or the way the environment is, it's not like this one, the teacher will chasing you, come to an assignment, then you catch your assignment. It's not like that. You are independent, you are less true. So if you don't have that discipline to be able to create time of social media and for the time for it goes for self-evaluation, and you find that someone step to start, they will start rushing. Okay, I have so many things about it, I have so many things about it, and that panic itself is for long. So it prevents you from solving the issue that you have solved in short. Try to do many things at the same time.
You said earlier, too much is going on in your brain.
Yeah.
You end up not getting anything. Okay. At this point, at this juncture, we love to go on a break. But then, before we go on a break, our main sponsor for today, which is Royal Scholar Schools, would love you to say something about her. So what do you have to say about Royal Scholar Schools? Dr. Lawal, I would love to start with you.
Royal Scholar, before this show, I was discussing with you, I was saying that I was hoping that my students at least are doing better than how I did when I was there. Because of time, I'll just give you one short testimony. I had a son that is in primary school. When he was in nursery school, so he was having some difficulties with his studies. The first impressive thing we have for that is, I don't know many, kind of school I went to really have that, is that they got to me that this child is having a problem. But I understood that before they got to me, the class teacher noted that and reported to the scholars. So I also noted that and reported to somebody else. And at each stage, they tried to do what they could do. Then I was when they have done all they were going to do. So I think that is a very big part of it. I want to talk about discipline, because somebody knowing what you should do. If somebody is not there to recognize that this is what is wrong and try to address it, then there is no hope that that's whatever you have to do. Child will not grow up that way and not moving. So for that reason, that's one reason, and then always I'm not going to present time. I think that's very impressive to us here. I'm planning to
Add more children for
add another one. Then I'll have more children. I don't know.
Well, I been with Royal Scholar to the exceptional school. And when they were in their new location, like the other side, any location, four of my children, I've been finished for a year, then I have one still here. I wouldn't lie, Royal Scholar has, aside from, parents give birth to children. Now, you can't say that either. Every children has a benefit one or two things. Royal Scholar has taught my children how to be punished for, how to be very neat, because they always give award for punctuality, gives award for everything. So that's helped them a lot. They are always very punctual, they are always very neat, and he really excellently have to. I can tell you the foundation of school is very important. My child that is here for me, he went out on studying the back end. I was not doing well. His mates are supposed to be going to primary school. And I don't think he tested him and he said, he's likely different. What do we do? He said, we do allow him. I said, please, go ahead. My own is get the foundation. The foundation is solid. He can even go to secondary school, I don't mind. If his foundation is solid, but when you go to secondary school, people will teach you how to read and write all over again. It's much less right way than and that's what I've done fantastically well. My kids, I'm very proud to say that in the end.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lawal. Thank you so much, Mrs. Zuwaira. What incredible words from you both. Thank you both so sincerely. That means everything you said about the school, everything we've been doing lately is actually very true. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. We'll go on a short break. Stay tuned and be with us.
Welcome to Royal Scholar School, where excellence meets innovation. At Royal Scholar, we believe every child deserves more than just an education. They deserve a future filled with possibilities. With our modern electronic teaching boards, learning comes alive and unforgettable. Our conducive learning environment is fully equipped with classrooms, distraction-free surroundings that encourage focus and creativity.
Need a home away from home? Our comfortable hostel facilities grant you that. We nurture potentials with qualified and passionate teachers, well-stocked libraries, ICT suites, and a variety of extracurricular activities. Enroll your child today and give them the Royal Scholar advantage. Visit us at Musa Ilu Street, opposite ARCC Beautiful Gate, Bukan-Ari, Lafia. Call us on 080-3600-8829 or our website www.royalscholarschool.com. Royal Scholar Schools, your child, your pride, your future.
Welcome back from break. This is Royal Scholars Talkshow, where our topic for today is what helps students excel academically. I have with me two very, very brilliant guests, Dr. Lawal Abdulmumuni by my left and Mrs. Zuwaira Abubakar on my right. Dr. Lawal, I'd love to ask, is this your first time experiencing a talk show? Something very, very something that has to do with your career, your profession, and at the same time, just interacting with this.
Yes, I think this is I've had interviews in the past that don't have to do directly in my career.
Okay.
With game or social life about academics formally like this, I think with
Okay.
yeah.
It's an honor. Mrs. Zuwaira, how about you?
Yeah, I've had 4 different talk shows because we're practically begging students all the time to read.
Okay.
So we have to go to school from time to time, they tend to follow the proper way, there are challenges. Students don't read at all. So you have to go there, let them understand that we're not supposed to read to just write exams. Sometimes you really just understand for the families. I'm not a science student, I'm very, very interested in them results. So I tend to read, I think, and I feel like, especially when you start having children, your child they want to give your child from drugs. I ask questions. Intelligent was like that because before I go, I make sure I get my children informed so that you don't ignorant mind.
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. And then our first question for Dr. Lawal. Doctor, from a neurological perspective, what does constant digital interruption do to concentration span and deep learning capacity?
All right. So cheating. That's short answer to. For everything in life, including education and learning, one tends to do more of what he's happy doing, what he enjoys doing. That feeling of happiness or satisfaction from doing something is gotten from a hormone that is called dopamine.
Okay.
So the more dopamine that your brain secretes, the more you feel like doing that. If it is excessive, you are more addicted. Okay. So now, screen time in many different ways gets you to feel that you've achieved some satisfaction in front. Maybe it's going to show you something that is fun. Maybe it's going to show you something that is a gossip. Maybe sometimes it's going to show you something that's education. Sometimes it's a game. But every time you get that, you get some dopamine. Visual warning, and give you satisfaction. Now the problem screen time gives this dopamine in very short points. Yes. The problem with this, how it affects your own education is that kind of dopamine separation for the sake of education is over time. You don't take tests every hour. You don't take tests so you need to spend time, that time that you spend on the screen, that's supposed to spend it on studying so that when at the end of the year, when you take the exams, you now get time with admission. So this picture kills your time. It cheats you out of the time because of the incentive that is given you in very short time. And then you may have a tendency to now lose focus and not concentrate on what the so excellence.
I guess, Doctor, Mrs. Zuwaira, from your own knowledge perspective, what does constant digital interruption do to deep learning?
Yeah, it kind of makes me slow in activity from
Okay.
when you watch lots of movies, especially when you come to digital movies, some people tend to watch, stopping them sometimes, either it's finding anything coming.
Okay.
Probably when you're watching digital movie, you want to see what is happening or how when they talk, you tend to watch it for a long period of time. It makes me when that child comes to school, it tends to be very slow. You think longer from financial as it is, you know. Or sometimes when you need to give out something or accessing questions, very truly affects a lot of things. I mean, like, so much.
Mrs. Zuwaira, it is said that when you study high-performing students closely, you often discover patterns, sometimes consistency, sometimes discipline, emotional control, and long-term thinking. This means that success is not accidental. What's your take on that?
Well, I think success is discipline. Discipline and consistency. Yeah. Because if you're disciplined, you know when to stop what. You know when to read. You know when to even sleep. You know when to read your book. You know when to go to classes and all. So discipline. Like you mentioned, when you get to university, down your own, nobody will say, have you gone to class? Nobody will say, you read your book. Nobody will know remind you to shower. Some students, even my son, I still remind him, I'm taking you about. So it's always like that when you're in university, so if you're not disciplined, there's no way you can succeed. There's no way. If it's someone that's not sitting that is succeeding, that person is just actually lucky. Naturally, it doesn't work because you have to prove something to get something else.
Okay, so you need discipline with the key for you. Yeah. Dr. Lawal, do you think it's consistency or emotional control or even the discipline she said or strategic reading?
I think this discipline. Okay. You know, 100 times if you compare discipline to strategy, you find that discipline is the thing is, let me even disagree with what you said, Dr. That somebody that knows the skill may succeed out of luck. Never. Never. One of our teachers told us that luck, the definition of luck is how did he even define it? He said that it's labor under correct knowledge. That is luck. If you work hard in the right direction, that's when you succeed. No matter how hard you work, if you are going in the wrong direction, you're not going to succeed. So, discipline that allows you to wake up and back and go to class, listen, read your the only way that eventually you get true knowledge. Some people have the capacity to retain things more than others. It's possible that you may just retain some things, but it doesn't mean that you have that knowledge. You will not have that knowledge. When it matters, the goal eventually of going to university is not just to have a certificate, not just to have a degree. It's to be able to use the knowledge and skill you've learned to be able to do something to society, to be able to move to society. You find that eventually, even if you pass the class, you don't have that.
Thank you. This is where many students fail examinations because they did not study, not because they did not study, but because anxiety lost retrieval. In simple terms, the information still exists in the brain, but stress prevents access to it. This explains why some students say, "Oh, I knew it before entering the hall." How can you manage examination anxiety? Can you provide a way we manage examination anxiety as a lecturer?
Definitely. I think class is really continue to check your. If you keep on reading from time to time, you don't wait for exam, that information will be there. Maybe it's not there or it's there. Now, when you start for exam, you don't need to read too hard. You tend to remember. And when you find yourself outside your book and you try to ask yourself some question, like find out that you won't be too anxious when you get to the book because you've read, you put in the work. When you don't put in the work, you know if I'm reading like reading, of course you'll be anxious. What if you have like 10 chapters to read and you read just two and you're expecting magic to happen? Of course, question will come out from all that. Or you're maybe very unlucky and no question will come out from the chapters that you read. Of course, you'll be anxious because you know you have not covered your reading. So you'll be anxious. But if you read and follow up continuously, the anxiousness or anxiety will not be there during the exam. If because you're reading your book, you will be anxious when you have to do a physical or oral one. You know, like that I can understand, but a lot of people don't know how to fix it. But when it comes to you writing exams, if you know it, you know it. When you don't know it, you don't know it.
Okay, Dr. Lawal, another dimension we know we cannot ignore is parental pressure. Many students today are carrying not only books, but fear, expectations, comparison, and emotional pressure. Can excessive pressure from parents or schools contribute to anxiety, burnout, and even cognitive shortfall among students?
Yes, it can.
Okay.
Not just because in any sphere of life.
Okay.
If you are anxious. But I think that from a medical perspective, you need to differentiate between stress and anxiety. Stress is a person's natural reaction to react to any form of pressure. And there are pressures all the time on everyone. So if you have that threat, you normally are supposed to be able to react to it well in a way to solve the problem. Truly, to an extent, if you lack threat in your life, you'll be bored and it's not good. So you need some level of threat that can be able to face problem and solve the problem. What anxiety is when that reaction that you have is in excess. If I think that maybe my source of says the exam will soon come and I will read, it's good, and I'll go and sit down and read and prepare for it.
It's really dry.
But if all the time I'm constantly on one day exam will come, you fail and you not score again, and that is what is constantly on mind, then fear creases and then you panic. Recall what I told you about your brain just has the need to go and achieve at anyone. So the moment you panic, the moment you have anxiety, you now have difficulty. Even with everyday tasks, doing the normal tasks that you're supposed to do. Everything, even those that are not supposed to be stressful, now become stressful. In the end, you will not be able to retain much and you will not be able to achieve. Okay.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lawal. Thank you, Zuwaira. This question is for you. Some students are not lazy, right? I'm sure you know. They are talking silently. And unfortunately, the educational system sometimes punish those students before understanding them. How can teachers identify students who genuinely need the support rather than criticism?
Well, when it comes to the directive, I will say that nobody's coming to identify if have a problem or not. Because it is no longer primary or secondary school. That is why they are supposed to be prepared before they come to the university. When you come to the university, we teach you. It's left for you to go back and do more research and learn more and authorize exam. Well, sometimes in special cases, you tend to notice somebody and decide to support. In the university,
It's not in the system.
It's not. You don't go and start identifying a student that we have thousands of students. When we start identifying someone that has issues or who doesn't have issues, it doesn't really work like that in the university. But we're always there, like when we preach, we tend to encourage them, always ask questions. Always ask questions. If you know you have hidden problems that you can also come to the library and ask questions. Of course, you meet someone that you don't know, because in the library there are hierarchy. We have like I'm an academic in the library. We have those that are not academic that also in the library. Now, we do the part of research. They do the very research, show, go to the issue. But when you come to the library and you need information on specific things, you come to professionals and you have to guide Now, it's now left for you to identify the problem you have and seek for help. But nobody will take you out and find help in the university. It doesn't work that way.
I agree completely. I just want to add that although nobody will seek you out, you find that because of us improving now, it's room for you to be able to seek out who you find. You find that your teacher and they are even those that are times of advisor. Yeah. So if you have this, even if it's not academic, if you have issue and what going to them. This is a skill that everybody should learn. I think that Wells Scholar is doing a lot in terms of that skill or keeping good company of relating with your senior, relating with your teacher. But if you have that skill, you will find that children should navigate from
Um, this is the final segment of today's episode. Mrs. Zuwaira, can you share a general characteristic in recommendation on what truly helps doing themselves academically? Okay, so
Students, first of all, should learn how to communicate. If you communicate well, you want to ask the right questions and be able to approach those that will help you. Like we just talked about everybody that has a problem. You should be able to identify the problem you have and be able to reach out to them. Some students don't know how to approach somebody. When you just come and you talk to somebody anyhow, of course you've already spoiled the mood and that person will not be interested in even helping you. When you approach somebody, I tell my children all the time, sir, ma should not be out of your mouth. Even if the person is not even old enough to be, but as long as you're seeking for something from that person, it automatically gives that respect. So the way you communicate is very important. And self-confidence, again. Some people are always scared. If I go there, they will shout at me. When you come to the university, nobody will baby you. Nobody will baby you. Especially when it comes to time for registration. The crowd is always much. People are overwhelmed. People that are doing registration are overwhelmed. And when they say, fill this form, submit your paper there, you are coming back to ask questions, of course they will shout at you. And some people are there that are not used to shouting at them. You've pampered them from the house. So when you come to school and someone shall just find them sitting in one corner and they are crying. I called a girl the other day, I said, you are crying. You should cry till you graduate because if you shout at you continuously, all you have to do is be confident in yourself, have positive thinking. Even if you do something, I keep telling my students, failure is not for good, it's for human beings. When you fail, you pick up yourself and you try again. Just be positive. Like those that felt, I knew this thing though, how come I forgot it? You do better next time. And the way people answer questions in secondary school is completely different from the way you answer questions in the university. When they ask you a question, you first of all introduce it before you answer. Not they say, my son came home with an assignment and he said the teacher say, briefly explain, and he wrote 5 lines. And I'm like, just your cardio will not be pretty simple. Your cardio will also be very large. I said, go back and visit assignment for me. And when they say briefly, it's okay to see second page. Yeah. But sometimes you can go as much as 15 pages. It's an assignment, it's not something you write because we expected to bring detailed information when you're doing it. But if you say you can't be bringing 5 lines, nobody will have so completely different from the second page. So the very thorough, self-conscious, and confident and communicative.
as a parent, what do you think other parents watching this should do to make a meaningful difference?
First of all, one major problem we're having, some parents want to live their dreams through their children. Some parents that wanted to be medical doctors and they make it, they tend to force their children to come and become medical doctors. I keep telling parents, I don't force a child to be what they don't want to be. If my child wants to go and learn, if it's a boy, and if they sometimes when a boy wants to do nursing, they'll be like, it's for women now. No, if that is what you want to eat, please allow that child. I know a parent that forced her child to come for medicine in nursing. Child got the admission right for, but she could not cope. She had to leave and now you have wasted 1 year with that child. If you had allowed her to go for what she wants to do and what she's capable of, not that that child will be very intelligent, but because that is not the choice, that is not what that child wants, their mind will not be there. You excel at what you want. You excel. My daughter got finance, but she wanted me. She wrote jam all over again. She has passed the exam and we're trying to see if she will get the next semester.
I hope she does.
That is what she wants. So if she gets there, she will excel by default because it is what she wants. But if it's my dream or what her to do and I say, go and do medicine for me, she will even end up going to medicine. But when she graduates tomorrow, you'll see how she will become full vendor at the end of the day. Because it happens. You see people that are baristas, they're not practicing. Because that's not what they really wanted. They just have the certificate because they want to choose the parents. So don't force your children to use your dream. Don't be your dream to your child. We're jumping our point.
Dr. Lawal, as a doctor, what can you say to other students out here watching this show? What can they do to make a meaningful difference?
They need to choose that they want to make success, destroy, examine, job. You have to choose that you work hard. You have to choose that you keep a good relationship. You have to choose that you keep good habits. It is those things cumulating that will now lead to success. Nobody is expecting, at least in the US, nobody is expecting you to be perfect. The US just expects you to be prepared. You're ready for all the stress that will happen. There will be, if you don't go to university, there will be stress. So all the things that come to ready by having these reading skills, whereas scholar have already taught you how to read, whereas scholar have already taught you how to socialize. It is those skills that you now improve on a consistent basis. That's what the discipline is. With day, with all, it becomes part of you.
Thank you very much, sir. We're approaching the end of the show, but I have yet another interesting game I want us to play. It is called the Fact or Myth game. I think I told you. I have 5 statements. I'm going to make 5 statements, and then you get to write 2. You write whether it is a fact or a myth to you. I have this one. This is where. Okay. Okay, let's begin. My first statement. Students who read overnight perform better. This is a myth or a fact to you. Okay. As students can excel outside the classes regularly. Is that a myth or a fact? As students can excel without attending classes regularly. Is that a myth or a fact? Okay, and then the third one. Some students are naturally gifted, so they don't need to study much. Is that a fact or a myth? To the fourth. Sleep is more important than extra reading. Is it a fact or a myth? Sleep is more important than extra reading. And then the last, students with first class results sacrifice their life. Is it factual or mythical? Students with first class results sacrifice their life. Is it factual or mythical? Okay. You're not right, Mrs. Zuwaira? Okay, I'll need to see where you got yours. Thank you so much. The first statement, students who read overnight perform better. According to Mrs. Zuwaira, it is a myth. Okay, Mrs. Zuwaira, why did you read?
I was following myself. I am someone that I don't read for too long. But for the class, I do nothing at all. So when I was still in university, and I decided to read all night. Honestly, I was just sleeping in the class. I could not give up anything. I failed that course. So to me, it's a myth.
Okay.
Look myself up an exam.
And then the second, a student can excel without attending classes regularly. Mrs. Zuwaira said that is a myth. So for a student to excel, he has to attend class regularly.
Yeah.
Okay. The third one, some students are naturally gifted, so they don't need to study. You wrote it is a fact and it is also a myth.
Yeah, the first and also because I knew someone that don't attend classes, but he reads the material and he does very well.
Okay.
So it doesn't work for everybody.
Okay. So it depends on the person. And then the fourth one, sleep is more important than extra reading. You said it today.
You have to read. You have to read. If you sleep on through, what will you do about?
Okay, true. The fifth one, students with first-class results sacrifice their social life. You said that is a fact.
Yeah.
First-class students don't have social life.
You can't say someone completely don't have a social life. Yes, it's one person. When you have to make financial life, if you want to achieve things like you just not be satisfied.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zuwaira. Dr. Lawal, the first statement I made, students who read overnight perform better. You said that is a myth.
The students that
Read overnight perform better.
yes, it's a myth because it's not true.
Okay.
And there's biology. There is any complex task. In a simple task in the brain, it's like I stand up, I walk, I swallow. They are simple tasks for the brain. But tasks that are complex, it's like thinking, solving math problem. Those ones are complex. Those kind of tasks are processed in the part of the brain that is called the frontal cortex in the brain. Now, this prefrontal cortex stores memory for a long time. There's another part of the brain that is called the hippocampus. It stores memory for a short time. When you read, it goes to the hippocampus. During sleep is the time that when you are not performing more activity, that the prefrontal cortex takes the information from the hippocampus. So if you take a long time that you are reading, there's no time for it to be stored in the brain. So eventually you found that you are not doing that.
Okay. And then the second statement, a student can excel without attending classes regularly. We said that in the name.
Yes, the student can pass. I think we said it. You can pass something. The way it is said that you can win some battles but lose the war eventually. But it is unlikely for a student that is not reading at all to eventually be able to excel and do very well.
Okay. The third one, some students are naturally intelligent, so they don't need to study. That is a myth to Dr. Lawal. Some students are naturally intelligent, so they don't need to study.
Natural intelligence will help you to probably understand something bigger, get something longer. But if you don't learn something, then you will not do it. Especially when the fact, I also teach medical students.
Okay.
And the fact that medical students fail to learn are many, not difficult. No single fact itself is simple, but there are so many that if you don't keep up with reading, you get lost of zero information. So you have to constantly reading and then doing exploring gradually. Then
the first one, sleep is more important than extra reading. You said this is a fact.
Extra reading. When you have already read, extra, you need to sleep, as I explained to you. For the brain to keep long time memory, it is during that period of sleep when you are doing activities that it does have long time. So if you have already read, it is better to sleep so that you have what you have learned with.
Okay. The last one. Students with first class results sacrifice their social life. It's a fact.
Also, it's about everybody because you have sacrificed something to get. And in all of the wrong, you have to sacrifice something to get something. Or you have to give time to study. So the same time, the time of studies will be a time of social media. Then you will not get it.
Okay. There should be a balance. Yes. Okay. It has become clear from this discussion that academic excellence is multidimensional. A student's success is influenced by mental condition, emotional stability, learning environment, teaching quality, discipline, health, and mindset. This destroys the dangerous myth that only naturally gifted students can excel. As we conclude today's discussion, one truth stands above all others. Academic excellence is not reserved for a special one. It is built gradually through healthy habit, deep understanding, discipline, consistency, self-awareness, and proper guidance. The successful student is not always the most intelligent student. Often the successful student is simply the one who learns how to manage time, how to manage pressure, how to learn effectively, and how to remain consistent even when motivation stands. So to every student watching, success is not magic. Excellence is trainable. And to parents and teachers, the goal is not merely to produce students who pass examination, but students who can think, grow, adapt, and thrive in life itself. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Royal Scholars Talkshow.
We are the students of Royal Scholars School, and this is the Royal Scholars Talkshow.
I'm my name is Katonko, and I hope you enjoyed our show for today.
My name is Mariam Ibrahim Sandra.
Odabo.